It's a new rise. Somebody lift those hands. It's a new rise. I need you to speak it over your own life tonight. It's a new rise. It's a new rise.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Propel Deep Dive. As the intro said, it's a new horizon. Today is this is the first week of full week of 2025. I'm Megan DiMartino, and I am so joyful to have you here with me today and my very dear friend and guest, Bruce Pulver. But before we introduce Bruce, I'd like to share a little bit about the Propel Deep Dive and the Propel program and what we do in the Propel community. I have been working in building this for the last 4 years. I sold my large day and medical spa in 2020. And at that time, even before I sold it, I had started, and this was in the middle of the pandemic, I had started a live and podcast called Unique Leaders. So you can go to YouTube, please subscribe. It helps everyone to find us. As well as yourself, and you'll get notifications. Ring that bell. So the Propel Deep Dive is an evolution from the Unique Leaders live and podcast. And life is about evolution. Everything keeps moving. It is a year of, this year, 25, is a year of shift. There's shifting going on all in our lives, all in our world, and just want to help you to propel your business and life. So you can go to my link tree, which is propel.megandimartino.com/info, and my book, which has its 5th anniversary this week. Well, actually, it was last week, the 4th. The 5th anniversary of Hope and Possibilities just over the horizon. It's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. You can also go there and plug into the Propel community. And that is a fabulous place to gain inspiration and encouragement in this shift, in this shifting year and time. And I am here for you. I've been building businesses for almost 50 years. And it is my joy to help you start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. There's so many large things coming. I'm doing a business conference at the spring summer called the Propel Bold Business Experience. And it's going to be here in Georgetown, Texas. And it is a very special year for me as well, because I'm celebrating the 75th year on this planet. And if I have been doing this for 50, well, you know what I did before that. It was pretty much preparing for that. So what you're going to be doing is preparing. And that is what I want to help you do, whether you're starting or have already started a business or you're building that business. I am here for you. So this Propel Deep Dive is an interview with a very, very interesting person that has attained things. Yes, but this person has also had struggles. And this person, you will see yourself in the midst of their story. We all have a story. So sit back and enjoy my time with my dear friend, Bruce Pulver. Hello there.
And again, how are you? Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everybody that's out listening today. It's looking forward so much to be with you.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much. And, Bruce, I've known you since Rise and Grind with Glenn Lundy and somewhat of the Clubhouse days with Breakfast with Champions. And during that season of the pandemic, I reached out to you after I sold my, as I shared in the intro, my large luxury day and medical spa, and knew it was a new evolution. It was a new time, and it was incumbent upon me to take all this information and help others. But I also knew it was time to get my story on a more global platform, and you yourself are a TED Talk speaker. And so I wanted to glean some information from you. And so we started chatting about it. And why I bring it up here, because it's part of your story, but why I bring it up here is that was in 21 when we were thinking about it, and you were very in the beginning stages of giving me information about how to navigate that. I mean, I tried twice and did not make it, and then the third time is a charm. And so, but you have to be persistent. It's that vision, that mission, and taking action, and being persistent with it. So, thank you for my beginning stages of my TED Talk. I really always, think of you in that journey. So, Bruce, as you know, because you've been on the, I do believe you're in Unique Leaders and the Propel deep dive, and I would love I would love you to kind of catch our guests up, but but many have not heard you. So go back to young Bruce, where you grew up, and the genesis of why you do what you do today. So the platform is yours, sir.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, congratulations on your talk. If I had a small part to help either encourage you or help think through the preparation, it was an honor to work with you. So congratulations on that feat. And anyone who's out there considering it, I'd say research it, check it out. It may be a platform that you want to pursue. It's definitely changed my life with my TED I did in 2019. So congratulations. So if we go back kind of the beginning, it's kind of a unique background. I am the beneficiary of what I call God showing up on opening day for my life. My mother suffered a traumatic heart challenge when she went into labor with me, which was called a dissecting aortic aneurysm for the technical folks out there. Basically, the artery leaving her heart tore, and she began bleeding internally. And when someone goes into labor and that happens, prior to her, no one had survived that longer than 72 hours of battling. Well, we were fortunate to be in New Haven, Connecticut. That's where I was born. My parents lived about 15 miles from the Yale New Haven Medical Center, and they didn't know really what was going on. She just kind of went into labor, and they didn't really realize it until she got to the hospital, and they did some tests, and they saw that there were some real problems with her heart function. But adding to that, the story doesn't end there. There were two surgeons who were visiting professors from Tulane University in New Orleans who had just worked on and perfected a few new techniques for valve repair and valve replacement for the heart. And they were immediately called over and went to work on my mom. They delivered me, and then she plunged into a 60-day battle, enduring 3 experimental surgeries that had never been done before successfully. And 60 days to emerge, to survive, thrive, and actually see me for the first time at 2 months old. Yeah. So that was sort of the first beginning. Like, that was day one, opening day, as I say. And I say that because every day after that, my mother's gratitude was just something that blossomed in every day she was alive. And so being raised in an environment where that was the norm, it wasn't the exception, I only realized later in life how much of a blessing that was. That, we all have ups and downs in life, but how we face them and how we evolve, how we adapt, really sets the course for circumstances that oftentimes we can't control, that one specifically in our life, but we can control kind of what do we do? Where do we go from here? What can we do? Instead of why me, why not me, sort of approach to life. And I was raised with that, but I really didn't realize that was anything unique until, I was growing up and, had friends in school and went off to college and off to a career. I kind of had this mindset of gratitude and everything works out for the best. Well, when you get gut punched, or you get, a diagnosis, or you get a job loss, or you get, a relationship that breaks up, or a business that fails, that's when you really are tested, and where are we going to go from here? And my world was corporate America for 25 plus years, and won't go into all the details, but relatively successful, and was able to achieve things and set new goals, and felt like I was on a really positive track for that, which I was, until I wasn't. And that was a major downsizing for a corporation I'd worked for 25 years. And right at that moment, and I think we all go through something like that in our life. I call it a BAM moment, when everything's fine and then this BAM happens and something changes. It could be an upside opportunity, or it could be a sideways opportunity, or it could be what you feel is a setback, or being sort of derailed in life. And when that situation occurred, what I say for me, not to me in hindsight, my mother's gratitude, and my father, who was really a wordsmith and loved the power of the English language, those two things, my mom's gratitude and my dad's love of words, forged together. And I just started writing, and that's what transformed my life. The ability to see a word, and how can that word encourage myself? How can it encourage me? Well, I didn't look it up in the dictionary.
Bruce, let me interrupt for a sec. So before we go into that, which is all, important to the evolution and trajectory to the next phase of your life, let's just, because I don't want to skirt over the BAM moment, because there's so many folks going through BAM moments right now. And we've been going through BAM moments. I mean, 2020 was a huge BAM moment for so many people and lives. And so, like you said, you were brought up by a woman who was dramatically fabulous and loving, but also was just embraced every day. And even though you were the recipient of it, you weren't cognitively, saying, well, she's, different. It happened later, as you lived life. And then your father, who, was a fabulously creative individual, and that was very, behind the scenes and subtle. But when you were in that BAM moment, what tools, I'm talking about tools, did you use to navigate through it? Because so many people that I see have an extremely hard time navigating out of that BAM moment to redefine themselves, because their identities are so entwined with that. Like you said, you were doing well, corporate, the corporate ladder just continued to grow for you, and getting on the top rung of the pinnacle of it, and then BAM. So how did you navigate through that? And I mean it more from an emotional mindset place.
Yeah, and a great question, by the way. Thank you for not letting me kind of stay on the top of the waves, because it's sort of something that is sort of my life now, right? So thank you for pulling me back into that. Let's dive into that.
Right. Important. I mean, because the person, I just want to share this with our guests, is that this is a conversation, but a person has to share about who they are before we can conversate. So, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So you asked kind of what did I lean on? What kind of tools did I get to? Well, I had, and I'm going to be very transparent about this, I had a nugget of faith. I mean, we were raised in the church. It was a very conservative family about beliefs and, your walk and all of that. It was more one of action than it was of words and conversation. So I grew up in the church as connected to it. However, as I've evolved and kind of looked at this and analyzed it, I don't really feel like I was connecting to that spiritual level that was so important. So one of the first things was sort of to ask the question, God, why is this going on? Why is this happening? Help me understand, and all the other emotions, right, of denial and anger and, the depression and all the things that were like, wait a minute, maybe I am a fraud, or maybe this success I had was purely due to being at the right place at the right time. All those things did go on in my mindset, and actually still do when things occur, right? That's just a human nature aspect. But so and number one, if I were to say, would be certainly that nugget of faith began to blossom. And I had some really positive people come around me in that aspect, to sort of encourage me that, hey, think about this as not the ending, but maybe the beginning of something. Don't look at it as, actually, I had a really good friend. I'll just go to this. I had a really good friend who called me in and said, Bruce, here's an exercise. So when something like a job loss, which is my scenario, if there's anybody going through this, I'd recommend these 3 things. Find 3 or 4 people that you're really close to, and not ones that are just gonna, blow the sunshine machine and say how awesome you are and don't worry about it. They're better. You're better off without them. Whatever that thing is. That. Ask them, what is it that we've worked on together that you've appreciated in my work? Ask it any way you want to, but what is it that you see from the outside that I'm good at? What is it that is my attractive trait of performance or creativity, or because those folks are going to have an objective, and ask them to have an objective explanation for you, right? That would be question number 1. The next question is, where would you see me taking this to the next step in my next move? Where would you, give me some ideas of where you could see I could leverage those things, because you want to take the good out of a situation that may not, be as positive at the surface, right? And then the third question is why. Ask them very specifically about not just what is it and where do they see you, but why, because that really gets to kind of the heart of maybe what your gifts are, heart of maybe some blind spots that you have in all this emotion that goes around. So that really helped me, my faith, and then some folks that really came alongside that's really challenged me to pick up from where I'd left. And it doesn't mean it's back in the frying pan, but where could I take this next thing as, and again, the gratitude aspect of life and things happening for us was my background. So I was probably open to that, which maybe not everybody is, especially if we feel like we've continuously been pounded on. But those are a couple things that really helped me.
Great share, because they tangibles always are a key to getting out of the well, because you're down there and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get up? But I know it's partially my personality, but it's also my how I was brought up. My father was an entrepreneur for sure, but he also was that term in my book, Over the Horizon, was his, and so he would always say, when my ship comes in, like, as a kid, I'm one of 4. And so he'd say, Dad, I need new sneakers. Okay. When my ship comes in over the horizon, so it was like, always looking out there. So I have been brought up that way. So it's easier for me. And I recognize that, Bruce. But if a person is not, it's much more challenging. But to me, that's the exciting and deliciousness of life, is that it's always evolving. Have you been able to embrace that in this? And then we'll go into the next step. Have you been able to embrace that? Meaning the fact that life always evolves and changes.
There's certainly always questions around it, and there's sort of discernment around the evolution. Do you just let it roll, or are you using your gifts and your skills and your faith and your experience to say, is this evolving aspect a place I want to go or not? I mean, I think we have to do that as well, because it's always moving. Let me back up for 2 seconds though, because I want to make sure I'm really clear about this. As I was raised, I was always the guy in the background. So I'm a musician and I play the drums. So the drummers, with very few exceptions, are in front. I was a baseball player, was never the biggest guy, never the superstar on the team. So I would work to try to play the role that I played. So it took a lot for me to even step out and say, I'm going to move from, implementing this technology, which was my first job, to, now I'll go and do some training around it, to now I'll go and do some maybe sales demonstrations, and to then an opportunity opened up for me to step into sales. So the person that you're talking to right now has definitely evolved from, being kind of quiet and shy and kind of back of the room and not really the first to speak, over time to develop that, hey, if I can bring value, it matters. I have to be out there. It makes a difference. I get to be out there. So I don't want it to sound like we're coming in and taking a slice of life. And, here's Bruce who's, doing the things we're going to talk about in a while. But I will tell you that it has been a journey and an evolution to, kind of what I call get in where I fit in. Where can I bring the most value? And it's in places that, are where my passions and my purpose lie.
That's huge because thank you for sharing that, because that's huge because, like you said, the perspective of the drummer, I was like, the famous drummers, I guess they have solos, right? But regardless, they are behind this physically, they're back behind the singers, right? So, and the singers may have a guitar, but they are back there. And then what you said about, the baseball, and then, but also what you said about the, that role that you had, that mindset of the role of that behind the scenes guy, not the front of the scenes guy, and the star of the show, and or the facilitator of the show, or what have you. That wasn't your mindset. So that's huge, because when a person and many people in shifts, and our world keeps shifting, and corporate changes, and on and on and on. And with that said, you have to shift your mindset of yourself. That's big. That's very, very large.
Yeah, and I know we're going to dive into this, but just two quick examples of mindset shift. The power of our words are, the words "can I" with a question mark, which brings in potential doubt and all those sorts of things. Can I really do this? Can I? Versus "I can," which you just move the I to the beginning and make it an exclamation point versus a question mark, and it plants a seed for a mindset shift.
Yes,
it's really to me for Bruce. Some people might be looking at a piece of art or watch an inspirational movie, but to me, it's the conversations I have with myself. And sometimes talking myself into something, like being okay, being uncomfortable. What does that mean? But that's where I felt like embracing this evolution and the shift you're talking about is like, why not me? Why not me? Why not?
Why not? So now let's go to, where you were sharing about your dad and his wordsmith. So why don't you now go to that, and our guests can see what you're speaking about, meaning and evolving to that. So why don't you share a bit about your father?
So he was an amazing person with the word. He just loved words. And I talk about this in my TED. One example is that he also wrote plays. And the characters of his plays, and they're usually performed in a small town or church or, someplace where it's all volunteer, just sort of no sets, but just kind of reading things. A lot of it were just around the table read. One of the plays he wrote, the characters in his play, the names of their characters represented their job or their career. So like the nurse at the hospital, he named her Ophelia Pulse. So, that's what a nurse would do, one of their tasks, right? The weatherman from Europe, that would be on the television and he'd be doing the weather on the 5 o'clock news. He was from Europe and his name was Gustav and his last name was Wind. So Gust of Wind. He saw things that way, which is kind of nerdy and kind of like a pun and kind of like a dad joke. But that really proved, just being around it, to kind of forge and solidify, my honor to him and sort of my thankfulness for having him as a father that way. When this bam moment hit me, a lot of dad's wordsmith stuff and mom's gratitude kind of pulled me out of that behind the scenes thing and just had me start kind of doing some writing. And then like the evolution and the shift just continued, and I felt like I was being pulled on the path that God had intended me to be on. And that's where I've been since the bam moment.
The bam moment. So so I've listened to you, in preparation for my TED. I not only listened to you, again, many times, which I've listened to befve, but I've listened to a lot of TED Talks in preparation. And so basically, I'd love you to share a little bit about with our guests the importance, which will lead to what you, because that was early on. You did that in 19, and you were laid off in 18, right? Is that, am I years correct? Okay, so you did that pretty early on, and you said earlier that it has changed the course of your life, and so basically, how I want you to kind of look at the TED though is because I get this question all the time, Bruce. I mean, I would say this is the number one question, other than, wow, that's interesting. How'd you do that? Other than that, I get, what is it going to do for you? How does that TED and deciding to do something kind of big in the beginning of this shift help shift? Because I want people to see, instead of sitting back and waiting for the opportunity to come, to make their opportunity.
Yeah. So how did it come about?
So share with our guests. I mean, I know you don't have to go into the mechanics and nuts and bolts of how it came about, but what has it done for you? And has it, because it was early on in your trajectory of the next phase of your life, and as you share about what you're doing currently, how did it help evolve? Because it took guts to step out there and do it.
Well, I think when the opportunity and the knowledge of what a TED Talk is all about kind of blossomed in front of me, I clearly realized that it was an opportunity to use a platform for a message that I was starting to understand mattered. It was making an impact. And I guess at the end of the day, this is all about how many lives can I touch to bring value. This isn't about, 750,000 views or, 10,000 books or, big speaking platforms. This is it's really about, can we impact one life? And I don't mean to, please don't minimize, don't think I'm just minimizing this. If I can impact one life with a conversation like we're having today, we've had a great day. So I saw it as an opportunity to create kind of a megaphone of a message that I had learned through writing, through the setback, through rebounding from that in a way, or like you said, switching or evolving or expanding, that I wanted that message to come out that I'm just one guy, just a normal dude from a small town. And if this has helped me, man, if it can help you, and the TED platform is a way to do that, I'm all in. So it kind of got me to the place of, wow, this could be a place where the message of, in my example, is the power of words,
right,
can maybe make a bigger impact than I can make on my own. So why not?
Why not? Why not? Exactly. I think that should be everyone's mantra. Why not? And so you did the TED and the power of words. And so share, like you shared about Dad and his work. And now what are you doing with this? You've taken that TED Talk and your book, when did you publish your book?
The book was published the book was published in 2015. So actually the layoff was before that. That's right. So time flies, right? So December 2015, the book came out. So it's been, my gosh, 9 years now. Yeah.
Right.
That led to the TED in 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And the layoff was when? What year?
Well, there were two.
I
wrote the book after the second one, which was 2013. Then I started writing in 14, and the book published in 15.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So again, an evolution. Yes. So today, pardon me?
Yeah. So today, kind of what we're doing, and it's really interesting. Everybody says, find your niche, be good at one thing. And what I found is through just having conversations with, have you ever thought about how powerful your words are? Has an application that can spread everywhere. So we've done workshops in the C-suite about leadership and about culture and about growth and about, just, credibility and all kinds of things around corporate America. And I've done talks for high school students that are in these emerging leader programs about what it means to set goals and what it means to define and tell your story. Some kids that are 16 and 17 years old say, well, how can I put anything on a resume? I've never worked in a day in my life. I said, so I have conversations and say, well, do you have any siblings? One of the girls said, yeah, I've got 4 younger siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I said, have you ever been asked to babysit them or get them somewhere? Make sure they're ready for something to help parents. I said, yeah. I said, well, you certainly have a story to tell. So and all through the power of believing in ourselves, the words that we use to talk to ourselves. So we've gone from, schools to corporations. I do a talk every quarter at a shelter in Atlanta where women have been recovered from trafficking and exploitation. And the power of our mindset, the power of our words can help us move one step forward. This isn't a radical change in life. It's an incremental change of believing that our words really impact everything. So we're doing, podcasts I've done next month, or later this month, I'm going down to Tampa, Florida, work with a cancer hospital. We'll talk to patients and staff about the power of our mindset. And so I've really not picked like a specific niche. I'm just trying to be available. And that little nugget of faith that I told you that started to blossom during that BAM moment is now a flourishing forest of God, put me where you need today. So they say hope's not a strategy, but when you have the Lord on your side, hope, trust, and faith is a pretty strong strategy for the kind of life He wants us to.
It really is the only strategy, really, that works. The only one that works, because again, it's constant. Pardon me?
I said that's what we're doing. We're looking for opportunities to speak and continue to share. The ultimate goal here is I truly believe that in all of us, there is a potential that is not fully revealed. And that potential is what I call our gifts. Those are God-installed features to share. And my mission is to help folks dive into more of their potential, whatever that is, believe in it, commit to developing it incrementally, being accountable, and giving their gifts away. Because yes, we're in an evolution, we're shifting, it's a crazy world. But I think if we focus on giving our gifts away as we develop them, meaning impacting other people, which means growing a business, which means maybe you're philanthropic and you're able to raise funds. Maybe you're a teacher, right? Maybe you're a great superstar athlete or a musician that can be a mentor or a role model for someone. That's really what I'm all about. And the settings that works in is unlimited. And the joy of being in that space, hopefully you can hear it in my voice, is just so exciting.
It is. It is truly what God put us on this planet for, to find our field of favor and to, expand the kingdom. And I was listening to someone yesterday who said that, and you basically just spoke this, but that she said, we were never taught to think. I was yes, because we just do things by the rote. And like you said, you were in a church that was very conservative. That was your life. So, you were never, so this whole shift has truly helped you as a human to open your mind of expansion and to really embrace the opportunities that life has. And now you're taking those through words, because as the word of God says, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and he who speaks it eats it. And so words that one speaks is very, very powerful, you know. So you have a legacy, my friend, of helping shifting other people's lives through the power of the word. It's really great, Bruce. Really.
Thank you. One way to think about. Thank you very much. And it's journey, right? Where he wants to be next is up to him. And I don't think God wants our abilities. I don't think
Say it
that
again?
at all.
What'd you say?
I don't think God wants our abilities. I think he wants our availabilities.
Yes.
And he puts us where he needs us. One of my favorite ways to describe what you just said about life and death is in the power of the tongue. Is if you write down words, WORDS, and then you take the S and you move it to the front, it spells SWORD. Words are a sword, and they will protect us and grow us, or used without intention, they can slay us. And that's really the message that I really
that is I'm going to use that one, Bruce Pulver. Wow.
Please do. I have no copyright on that. Please do, because it's important. I mean, if you think about it, it gives me a visual.
Well, I was just going to say, what a powerful visual. That's, because when you said take the S, and I knew what then it would be, but I was thinking about, what you said, repeat it, please, but that a word can, or slay. Say that sentence again.
They can protect us. They can help us grow. A sword it's like it's a deterrent as well, right? You don't always have to use it. So it can protect us, but if not used properly, and we move the S to the beginning, they can slay us. They can quietly slay us by self-doubt in our conversations. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I shouldn't try for this. I fail at everything I do. I was always told I was a failure. I was told I wasn't wanted. I was told I'd never amount to anything. We start believing that stuff. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. And it's not an easy thing to switch. It's not an easy thing to change.
No.
If you say, yes, I can, on anything that you start, I don't know how. I have no idea how to get to the end game. I don't even know what the end game is. But if you start with, yes, I can, that means the letters I write vertically, it means you expect success in challenging activities now. So you did a TED Talk. You said, yes, I can. When we first started talking about that, Megan, there were a lot of unanswered questions, right? And a lot of them I couldn't answer, but we tried to work through and how I could direct you, or what you needed. You figured out what to research and it all started with yes, I can, and the result is you just stepped off the TED stage. If you started with no, I can't, you never would have even opened an internet browser to say what location might work for me or what topics are these TED programs looking for. You didn't know when you started, but if you start with yes, I can, that is a spark to which anyone can begin a change. And then I do a whole talk about, right now at the beginning of the year, I talk about resolutions, which I am a major critic of. I do not like the word resolutions. It is wrought with failure. But if you take resolutions and you split that word apart, and after the first two letters, R-E, you drop in an A and an L, and then a space, resolutions become real solutions. And we start focusing on that and believe, get the work, we can turn a wish, a dream, into action, into a habit, and into a change in lifestyle. And one of my whole talks, I'm doing this 3 times this month, is how to go from goal setting to goal obliteration. And it's all through a cycle of how we look at the change we want in life and then how we act.
So these speaking opportunities, do you have it? Do they mainly come through LinkedIn? Is it word of mouth? How do things come to you at this point?
Yeah, so the the way I've sort of approached this is to basically work on referrals. You're not going to see a whole lot of speaker reels. You're not going to, at this point, you're not going to see a whole lot of, fireworks going off on a soundstage with me up front. I really like to make an impact, and with that, speak on referrals. So I'm headed down to South Georgia to work with three different organizations in 3 days down there. They were devastated by Helene and Milton, and that's all through a relationship that started 4 or 5 years ago, and finally have the opportunity to do that. And then I said, I'm going down to Florida. That was a LinkedIn connection to work at a hospital down in Tampa, but it's all, I sent a book down to them. I said, hey, if there's something here that this book can help your team, by all means use it. He reached out and called me. So a lot of them are just coming by being out there, and referral to me is a validation. It's not. It's an affirmation. I don't only want to speak where I'm going to bring value. I don't want to be a marquee person in lights. So come here, this guy. No, I want to be someone who said, hey, we've been something with he made an impact. And so that's how I can balance my time in the places where I feel like I'm bringing about value.
Well, that's why I asked it, because, again, people, like I said, what is it doing for you? What is it going to do for you? And my answer is, I have no idea. And I said, I have no idea. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it to share my story, to give others encouragement. And if people go to it, that's fine. I will continue on. And, but it is about giving people encouragement to start and never stop. And that it's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. And I made sure that I got that point at the end, Oh,
yeah. I have a really, really dear friend. We chat every Friday at 1:00, and we've done this for like 4 years. And one of the things that we talk about kind of in stage of life, and this is sort of, I hope this comes across. Yeah, I'm looking for speaking engagements. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just letting them.
Yes. I brought it up for 2 reasons. One, that, and and to give people encouragement that it will most likely come from referrals. Keep going, please.
Absolutely. And so I didn't want to underplay that, but at the same time, the mindset that I have, and I've evolved and grown to this, is, my story is just my story. It's not about me telling my story, and it's about impact. And I love the analogy of the Himalayan mountain guides, who are called Sherpas, and their job is to help their customer, right, the person that's there to climb the mountain, to get to the summit. And they bring tools, they bring resources, they bring their experience to help that person reach their pinnacle. And that is what my goal and mission is in speaking, in writing, in guesting on podcasts, is helping other folks who have a goal or may not. They may not even exactly know where they want to go, but helping to try to find some clarity for them, their clarity, not mine, not my 6 steps, but here's some things that have worked for me. And if they can help you and your organization and your leadership and your merger with new culture and your high school football team and your church group that's, doing some things in the community, find their maximum potential and believe in themselves. That's a perfect fit for me, because I just want to be the Sherpa. I want to help those folks get to where they need to be.
Well, that is a perfect place to end this fabulous New Year's first week of 2025 with you, Bruce. I just really treasure knowing you and having you as a friend in my life. I enjoy all of your work and your emails and your newsletters, rather, and everything that you do. It's just really very, very important work, and don't take that lightly. It is important work, and I know you're getting that feedback. I know that, or you wouldn't continue on, and it wouldn't expand. And the most important piece is that God is guiding you those steps. Take that first step, folks, and the second and third step will be revealed to you if you trust him. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you,
and that's my word. That's my word for the year, is trust. So my pleasure to be with you. Maybe we'll do a follow-up on that.
Before we go, then expand upon that word. Yes. What does that mean to you?
One of my life verses is Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. but in all ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. So for me, the trust factor is that he has me on the right path. I'll have to do things that I don't see, kind of like working on a jigsaw puzzle without the box top. I've got to have the faith facing anything insurmountable, trust him to move forward. And so I picked trust based on Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And as you guys know, we've kind of dabbled a little bit. I write words vertically and use the letters to define it. So why don't we close with this? This is how I wrote the word trust, which is my word for the year in 2025.
Great.
The phrase that goes along with the first T is to let go when afraid. I think that's the biggest key, is to let go of the fear, because fear can fail every attempt regardless, or fuels energy and resilience. Two ways to look at the word fear. So I need to let go when I'm afraid. That's the best thing. Otherwise, I get stifled. The R is relying on the unknown. Instead of being fearful of the unknown, know that having something that's unknown is actually the blessing in the journey, because that's where we're able to navigate, improvise, use our creativity, let the Holy Spirit move us, stay on that path. The U is using faith versus facts. So if I have to have the perfect set of facts before I move, am I trusting? Am I trusting the Lord with all my heart? I would say that I personally am not. So I have to use that faith and say, he's got me. Be eager and be available. That'll take care of itself. Then the S is to say yes without seeing. An example of that, Megan, is the TED Talk you did. You said yes, and you didn't know what that stage was going to look like. You didn't know what the micing was going to look like. You didn't know what the message was going to be. But you said yes without seeing the entire picture. And then the T, the last T in trust for me stands for take a step. He's there. And that renews in me Peter's moment of stepping out of the boat. Take a step, he's there. So that's my word for the year, is trust. And yes, there's plans, yes, there's goals, yes, there's aspirations, but at the same time, keeping those in line with trusting, and we'll take care of everything else that is important.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks
Amen.
for letting me do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you have a wonderful, wonderful 2000 and just such a powerful 2025. Thank you, Bruce.
You as well. Thanks, Megan.
Be blessed. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Bruce Pulver as much as I did. And the reason I really wanted Bruce to be with me in the beginning of this year is because of the fact that words do matter. And so just remember, guys, that every day in every way, you can change your life. You can change the trajectory of your life, but it's what you see, what you believe, and then you speak it, take action, and that mountain will move. It will. But you just have to go within, as Bruce is saying, and ask, seek, knock, and God will guide you, truly will. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me on this journey of the Propel deep dive, but also the Propel program. I have so many things that are coming shortly, very shortly. I'm going to start doing a lot of lives. I realize that it's important. I see how people respond to it. So I've made a decision to do that. I'm going to tie it together with things that I want to share with you. And so that's coming very soon. And of course, please join me and our other community members in the Propel community. And it's propel.megandimartino.com/info. It's free. And you will get notifications of everything we're doing, everything that's coming, big and small. But you will receive every day a daily word, a message rather, not a word like Bruce's, but a message of inspiration and encouragement. And I do a weekly newsletter, which is also a blog. And then, of course, the Propel program, that is a business training program of starting, scaling, and sustaining with my 5 C's. Clarity. We talked a lot about clarity today. Clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and compassion. Compassion for yourself. Because as Bruce and I have said, this morning, things always change, and you could get stuck in the mud with blaming yourself. Why did this happen? What is this? No, compassion, and move on. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Do not. I was coaching with a coaching client on Saturday, and she just was so stuck in the past. And I helped her understand that it was so very selfish of she continue helping her see that. I didn't say that, but to help her see that she wasn't thinking at all about what her husband does. She was just blaming the past. So move forward. This is an opportunity, a fresh slate, a fresh start to take that first step. And the second and third step will be revealed to you. Psalm 37. I look forward to seeing you soon on the Propel program, the Propel Deep Dive, and all of my lives. Look for it, but join me in the Propel community. It is free. Be blessed.
Hello, peace. Hello, joy.